What's up, fish friends? I haven't made a video in quite a while. There hasn't really been many changes to the tank, so among other things, I've had a lot of stuff going on in my personal life. Yeah, so I haven't really had much time or the energy to do anything like this. My dad is in a bad way. I don't know if you guys remember me mentioning him. I had set up a tank for him. He has dementia. He's not doing very well. Basically, I would describe him as a shell of his former self. So, I kind of have to look in on him now. He pretty much raised me on it by himself, you know. For many years, it was me and my dad. Growing up, my mom wasn't always there a lot, so I lived with my dad and he took care of me. Like I said, he pretty much raised me. So I feel it's my duty to take care of him, when he needs it. Not to be all depressing, it just it's part of what I have going on right now. But yeah, so I have to look in on it sometimes. And among that, I don't know if I've ever brought it up before, but so me and my wife both work in healthcare. We actually work in the same same department at a local hospital, and so the way our schedule runs with our son, I work mornings, and then when I get off work, I come home. My wife actually goes to work. She works for about 4 hours or so. So that's a good way that we're able to kind of raise our son, and not have to worry about daycare. First of all, daycare is ridiculous, expensive as hell. I know someone who actually pays like $1,000 a month just for daycare. Ridiculous. We barely have $1,000 a month to pay our mortgage, which is what our mortgage is, pretty much. But yeah, that's it's a lot. So yeah, it helps us raise our son, and not have to worry about relying on daycare or anyone else, honestly. Plus, on top of that, our son is actually, I'm not going to get too much into it, but our son is actually special needs. So it's kind of good that he's with us, a lot of the time. So it's not actually really time for him to go to school yet anyways. In our state, the law is that he's about to turn 5. In our state, the law is you have to be enrolled in school or some kind of school system by, I believe, age 6. So yeah, but because of that whole shindig with the schedule and the stuff with my dad that's going on, this is what I'm trying to get into, is I really don't hardly have any time. Literally. So yeah, kind of sucks, it is what it is, but I think the tank is looking pretty good though. So ironically, speaking of the tank, and this doesn't really have to do with the tank, but so today I actually did something different. I'm going to show you guys this. I actually painted our living room. It's not the nicest house, but it is what it is. So we've lived here almost 3 years now. We bought our house in October of 2020. So for the longest time, so the tank used to be over here on this wall, and that TV here was wall mounted over here, as you can tell. My father-in-law actually put this in. It's still on the wall because I've tried everything possible to try to get it off. I'm not really too handy with certain things, but I tried screwdrivers, I tried sockets, I tried the drill with the socket, I tried this, and whatever I tried, it ain't going nowhere. So I just worked around it. But yeah, that's gonna come out the wall. It's gonna go over here. TV's gonna go up on the wall. This stupid little setup is just temporarily. It's temporarily like this. And unfortunately, got a little bit of paint on the floor, but we're gonna be we're gonna be ripping the carpet out here eventually, anyways. So having a 5-year-old and having carpet, I don't know if anyone has any experience with this, just doesn't work. They don't go together at all. See, I mean, this is just, a lot of this just is from him. Yeah, so I moved the tank over here in this wall. I actually think it looks pretty good, you know. It was very interesting, though, moving the tank, because I probably shouldn't have did this. Did this, whatever, I don't know. I actually just kind of pushed and pulled on the tank while I was full of water. It was probably a really bad idea, but at the time I was just kind of, I was like, all right, let's just get this over with. So yeah, it took me about probably 10 minutes, but I just pushed and pulled the tank, you know, while I was full of water into this spot over here. So I hope I didn't damage the tank in some way. Starts leaking in the next 2 or 3 days, and I'll know that I basically screwed it up. So far I haven't had any problem, but it's actually not the first time I did this. I did this at our mobile home years ago when I had my old 60 tall set up, but it was a little bit different because it was on hardwood floor, so it could kind of easily be moved. Not easily, but a little bit more easily than on this carpet. So I want to talk about something I had an idea about. I know I've thrown it out there for a while now about getting a new tank. So I had the idea to possibly get a 55-gallon tank. Now, here's the dilemma about the 55-gallon tank. It's much taller, much harder to light, and much harder to clean. Now I wondered if I might have a little bit more success. Oh, excuse me. A little bit more success if I, say, for example, took the substrate, I would get new substrate, and stacked it up higher. Maybe, say, about, I don't know, 55 gallons, 21 inches tall. Maybe stacked it up to like about that tall or something. I don't know. Maybe 3.5, 4 inches. Might make it a little bit easier for lighting. But I don't know. I'd have to upgrade the lighting anyways. In all reality, I don't know if I will do that or not, but it's a good idea, I think. I like 55-gallon tanks. I just don't like how obnoxiously tall they are. Yeah, I got a bit of algae going on here. I don't know what to do about this. Whatever. I don't care. Yeah. Especially because so in regards to the 55-gallon, I love the fact that you can get them from, you know, Petco right now. Well, a lot of times here for like $70. It's pretty sweet. Although it's not the most ideal tank to me because I'm not really the biggest fan of Aqueon tanks. I think they're kind of, well, especially compared like to this tank, they're kind of garbage quality. This is the best built tank I've actually ever used. I mean, for, you know, a more of a budget style, not rimless, fancy tank. This tank to me was put together perfectly. So I might go that route, I'm not sure. If I do, I'm going to change it up a little bit, I think, and get white substrate. So here's the thing, also among that pro of being $70, you can, if, say for example, if you buy the tank from Petco and 2 or 3 days later, like, oh, okay, that was a stupid idea, let me return it. You can easily do that. I mean, obviously it's a little bit harder if you have it set up. You just have to tear it down. But if you had the tank like sitting around waiting until you were able to set it up, you can just take it back. You know, I found that LFS are very particular about taking shit back, which is really annoying. I mean, I guess that it is what it is. I'm kind of finicky with certain things sometimes. So, like, say for example, years ago I had bought this 55 gallon from an LFS location, which I have not bought anything since because I'm not a big fan of them. You're like, yeah, I wanted to return it. It was a 55 gallon Marineland tank, and I quickly, not soon after, realized, okay, I shouldn't have done that. Like, yeah, no, we can't take it back because it could be compromised for the next person who buys it. No, come on. It basically was a BS excuse because they didn't want to give me my money back. I've actually also had another place tell me, yeah, once you get the tank and buy it, you're out the door, it's yours. There's no returns, nothing like that. It's like, seriously? What if you had an issue and it leaked or something like that? What if you set it up and 2 days later it leaked? Just say, for example. I've had other places, though, ironically, brought a tank back for whatever reason, mostly because money things, and like I said, I can be kind of finicky and indecisive. I bought a tank before from one of my favorite LFS, and they actually returned it. But yeah, it's not something I really want to divulge in. That's why I kind of rather... Actually, that's a funny story. So this tank was actually originally a 55 gallon. And once I got it home after a certain amount of time, I was like, why the hell did I do that? And ironically, actually called them up, and they're like, yeah, okay, we'll exchange it, take it back, whatever. So I took it back and actually exchanged it, and this is when I got this tank, the 33 long. I figured it'd make it a little bit easier for him, which also at the time was actually a pretty good deal. I can't remember how much the 55 gallon was, but it was a little bit more than this, I think. I don't know, it might have been $120. $120, $125, something like that. So I took it back and I exchanged it for this 33 long, which after tax actually came out to like $110. It really wasn't too bad. So yeah, I think they owed me like $15, and they were pretty cool about it. So, but unfortunately that LFS is now defunct. They don't exist anymore. So yeah, that's kind of partially why I don't really want to get another tank from LFS unless it's like a special order tank. If it's something like the 55, I can get it Petco, yeah, so be it. But if I had to get a 40 long or something like that, I'd have to get it through the LFS. These white clouds are looking hot. So I still have however many gold white clouds that I've had. I'm guessing it's at least 22. It's like 22 or 24 or something like that. One of these days I should actually catch them all, just so I can count them. Just so I can actually know how many I have in here. I know it's around at least 24. I don't think it's any more than that because I had a few of them die. And then I have 3 of the regular ones, which I meant to actually give to my dad for his tank, but I just haven't done it yet. He actually, ironically, for some reason, had one die in his tank a couple weeks ago. Yeah, this is a rambling video, as long as you guys don't mind. I don't have any fish friends besides you guys, so my wife's not interested in hearing about my fish tank crap, so I'll just blah blah blah, I guess, on here. So this Ludwigia that I put in here, I'm just gonna pull out eventually because it hasn't done anything. It's just sat there essentially. Same with these Amazon swords. In fact, you can tell how bad they look, and at this point, I kind of don't really care. It's partially my fault, but I don't know. Well, I'm really considering maybe, however, set up this tank in the future, just doing an all crypt tank. Crypt and some obviously Rotella, whatever the hell you call it, because crypts seems like crypts just grow for me, and they just didn't require anything. Pretty much. Yeah. Because most of the plants I have in this tank are crypts, you know. Got the crypt Wenty, whatever the heck you call it. There's a little bit of crypt, I think it's lucens or parva. I can't remember. It doesn't grow very much though, whatever it is. The crypt Wenty though grows like crazy. Look at those guys. Man, they look sweet. On a side note, the white clouds. So it's weird. You can, seeing from across the room, looking at the white clouds, you can see them somewhat, you can see the golden ones so much better, their colors, compared to the regular ones. If you're like sitting across the room, like looking at the regular ones, you can't really, it just kind of looks like a bland, like, gray flash going by. Whereas these are really pronounced, and you can actually see they're like their golden hue with their red tail, which is one of the reasons why I don't really want to get rid of them. I love these guys. That's why I've had them for like 2.5 years. See, if I had a bigger tank, I would maybe open up and have a little bit more fish. You know, that's why I maybe kind of wanted to get, like I said, a 40 long. I could have all these golds, and then maybe, I don't know, 8 to 10 of the regular ones, and then, you know, still be kind of like moderately stocked. See, with all the fish I had in here before, the 24 gold white clouds, and then like the other 15 regular ones, my tank was way overstocked. So at least if I had a larger tank with a little bit more volume, it wouldn't be so overstocked. It would just be pretty much mostly stocked. I think I screwed up the background, unfortunately, when I was moving, because the water was splashing around everywhere. I don't know, it doesn't look too bad, but I'd much rather have a sprayed on, spray painted on background, but it's such a pain in the butt. I'm trying not to curse too much, so someone brought it up before that I don't really have to, so I'm not gonna. Especially if I like say the F word, so sorry if it slips out. So what do you guys think? Should I maybe upgrade this tank, or should I kind of just leave it as is? I have a small thought of, you know, hey, if it's not broken, don't fix it. So this tank has always done me well. That out of all the tanks I think I've ever had, I've had a lot of them. This has been my favorite tank. I've had the most success with this one and the most enjoyment out of this one. A little Jerry action. There's a standard white cloud. I don't really even know what to call them. Standard white clouds? I mean, they're regular white clouds compared to, you know, my golden ones. They actually have a really good deal right now at Petco where you could get a 60 breeder tank. If you order it online, well, at least they did have a sale for it. If you order online, I think you could get like 20% off or something like that. If you do like in-store pickup, you could get it for like around $80 or something like that. That's a hell of a deal, considering normally they're like $200. I told myself in the past, honestly though, I like things kind of like more in the moderate, the medium size. That's why I like 30 to 40 gallon tanks so much. They're big enough, where they're not too small but not too large either. That's why I'm kind of possibly leaning towards a 40 long if I do anything, maybe. I don't know. Same with like our TV here. So I've been having issues with the sound, so I've been kind of looking into a new TV. This TV was given to us by neighbors who were super nice, but it's because it's an older TV. There's no warranty on it or anything. So once it does something, that's pretty much it. So I was looking like for a 43-inch TV. To me, that's a good size. Yeah, like I said, another thing like the tank, it's not too big really and not too small. This is a 50-inch though. But yeah, something in that area. I don't know. It's just what clicks in my brain. I think a 40 long is a really nice size though. But remember my discussion earlier, why I said what the pros and cons are of getting a 55 gallon from Petco. Ironically, you can actually get an Aqueon tank if you like have it ordered for you with black seals, which is what I really prefer because I think it's a much more fancy, cleaner, nicer look. Yeah, like if an LFS goes and orders an Aqueon 55 gallon tank for you, you can get it in black silicone, which is pretty cool. I don't think you can. I think tanks under 55 gallons from Aqueon, I don't think they do black silicone. It's got to be 55 or up. So, yeah, I sure as hell wouldn't go that route though. Not when you can get an Aqueon, for $70 or so. $70, $80, something like that at Petco right now. What is it? Can't talk. Anyways, it's getting kind of late here. It's getting into the morning hours of Sunday. Oh, speaking of which, happy Father's Day, anyone out there who's a father. Hope you have a good day tomorrow. Not sure what my wife has planned for me, but I'm sure it's something interesting. Alright, all. Be safe. Good night.